So yeah, he even puts box dates on his boxes. I don't know about all of them, but I know some of the better ones, definitely like the Kahonu 2003, 2006, 2009. Those all have box dates on them, engraved uh, logos on the back of the box, on the bottom of the box and everything. If you look at the bands, all his bands are reminiscent of Cuban bands. First, the Tatuaje band itself with the Fleur de Lis, Monte Cristo band, boom, one of the oldest brands in Cuba. Um, then you have the Kahonu bands, the Kahonu 2003, 2006. Those all look like Limitada bands. The Cabaguan bands. Cabaguan is, by the way, a Pete Johnson cigar, and it's a very, very good one. I don't know if a lot of people who smoke Tatuaje don't really know about Cabaguan. Superb cigar, very Cubanesque, and those bands are like regional edition bands, except they're yellow. But long story short, he does everything in that tradition. And I can say that he was quoted once. He was quoted once as saying, if somebody asked him about his whole thing with, what are his cigars all about, and his quote, his statement to them was, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to copy it the best I can. Meaning that he knows that there are cigars. I'm sure there are cigars out there that he worships, that he thinks are the best cigars on earth, and he tries to bring his cigars as close to those as possible. Um, our store does a lot of business with Pete, a lot of Tatuaje business, and I've never even gotten to meet him. I have talked to him on the phone a few times, but he wouldn't know who I was just by seeing me. If you ever see this, Pete, you're the man. He really is incredible. Definitely someone to look up as far as production of cigars, his taste in cigars, and his promotional skills are genius. Genius. I don't know if he has any kind of degrees or anything. I have a degree in business. I would think this guy graduated with a doctorate from Harvard. I mean, some of the promotional stuff he comes up with is just genius. Anyway, back to the point. I thought, Pete Johnson. Why Pete Johnson? Tatuaje. Why? Because Pete Johnson does everything as close as possible as he can in the Cuban tradition. And it dawned on me that I can show you a non-Cuban cigar rolled the way a Cuban cigar should be rolled. And it's going to look 1,000 times better when I open it up than what those supposed Cuban cigars were. Now, Cuban cigars are the best cigars on earth. And everybody lately has been blaming, quality control is bad. Cuban quality control. Quality control is, yeah, okay, to a point. And that's things like you get beetles in their cigars because they don't flash freeze. Um, you know, Sometimes a cigar will be plugged. But let me tell you something. Quality control is not stuffing a bunch of shit and sawdust and toothpicks. We saw Carlos's toothpick yesterday, wrapped up in a cigar. Quality control is not, trust me, it's not that. They adhere to very strict standards of production, okay? You have to remember that this is a government-run operation, and this is the country's bread and butter. You have to remember that. So they are very, very serious about how their cigars are made and the quality of their cigars, and you have to also remember that just because they're illegal in the U.S. doesn't mean they're illegal everywhere else. In fact, they're only illegal in the U.S. Everywhere else in the world, that's the only cigars they smoke. Yeah, there are a few other brands that other people like Davidoff's are very popular in Europe. People love to try to get Padrones back over there when they can from here. And I don't even know if Padrones are available overseas. I don't think so. But a lot of the Dominican brands, why would they be? Why would any Altitas U.S. brands or General cigar brands like Gloria Cubana or, uh, you know, just about anything they make, be available over there. They already have cigars with those names that are 20 times better. So that's what hit me. I could show you a cigar, a non-Cuban cigar, and open it up. That will show you what a Cuban cigar should look like. Well, why not just open up a Cuban cigar? Because this proves an even stronger point. This proves an even stronger point that Cuban cigars, the finest made cigars in the world, the finest methods of rolling, the finest tobaccos, all of that. And I'll show you a cigar that was made right in Miami, because Tatuaje Cigars, except for the red label, Havana 6 brands, brown labels come out of Miami. This cigar was made in the United States, okay, rolled in the United States using Nicaraguan tobacco, and is going to look exactly how a Cuban cigar. You're going to see the notches cut out in the leaves. You're going to see, and when I open these leaves, they're going to be big, beautiful leaves. Now, the cigar I chose to do this with was the Espaciales, a Lancero, for a few reasons. A, it's particularly long, and I want to show you how these leaves, even though the cigar is this long, well, maybe this long, is going to run the entire length of the cigar, and also because it's a thin cigar, so it's only going to use 3 or so big filler leaves, but you're going to see that the whole cigar is full, is using just 3 leaves, not 16 leaves all smushed together and clumps of shit in between to puff the cigar out and make sure it doesn't collapse and look like a old man's walking stick. You know, we're not trying to, if they didn't put those little balled up pieces of stuff in there, see, the people making these fake cigars are not skilled rollers like the people making them at the factories. Now, sometimes you have people doing double detail. Alright, so here we are. Here's the cigar. A Lancero, pigtail head. Okay, long cigar. Pretty thin cigar. 38 ring gauge, I believe. Something like that, 36, 38. And a really good cigar. Smoked one today when the idea hit me. I'm going to cut the cap and give it a little start. Also, this cigar was a million times easier. In fact, I'm going to even give myself a challenge. I'm going to say that this cigar is so well made that I may even be, it's not going to look good after I do, but I may even be able to put it back together to the point of being able to smoke it. It's going to look like crap when I'm done, probably, but the point is I'll be able to smoke those things before. There's no way I could have done that with one of those other things. First, we're going to take off the triple caps, which is really kind of a misnomer, by the way, because there aren't 3 caps on a cigar. There is the cap formed by, sometimes you have like a wrapper cap and binder, but triple is the tobacco wound around to keep the cap in place and also to stop the rest of the cigar from unwinding. So once I take all of that off, that's what lets me get to the wrapper, some off camera, and start unwinding the thing. Okay, so right away, here we are. Okay, and I'm unwinding it, and the leaf itself is a little. And the cigar really unwinds pretty easily once you undo that triple cap. That's a, I don't know if you can see this, but that's a really, beside that crack that I just put in it, that's a beautiful wrapper. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that to the side because, like I said, we're actually going to try to put it back together somehow. So I'll need that. And let's look at how this is done. Okay. Let me just get it started over here. Okay. There we are. Taking off the binder. Okay. And what am I doing? I think I broke it. Okay. That's binder leaf. Look at that. That's really something. That's a perfect. Okay, so now we're getting to the meat of the cigar.